We can talk.
All right, and we are live. Welcome to the Fit Family Lifestyle Podcast. I'm here with my beautiful, talented, fit, gorgeous. I could go on for days with adjectives, but this is my beautiful wife, AM, and Austin in the back from Player One Productions. Shout out to Austin for hooking us up with this whole production. If you're looking for some good content creation or photography or anything of that nature, hit up my man Austin at Player One Productions, link in the description. And welcome. So today we're going to get into busting some fitness myths. But before we do, I want to remind everybody that we are EPN sponsored athletes. If you're looking for premium supplements with delicious flavors, transparent ingredients, and decent prices, you get 10% off with the link in the description. No special code needed. Just use that unique link in the description and get 10% off. They've got protein powder. They've got BCAAs. They've got pre-workout. They've got non-stim pre-workout. Pretty much anything that you would need to get in shape and be fit and stay lean. So what's happening?
Just another Friday, long week of work.
Yeah, did you close your rings today?
I absolutely closed my rings today. Yes, sir.
We were boxing in the living room before we came here.
Because I had 10 minutes left.
10 minutes left. Had to close the rings. Otherwise, it would be much later at night. But you would be doing it.
Absolutely.
Post-concert. That's right.
Post-concert, yes. It doesn't matter what time for me. I need to close those rings.
Right. So for those of you who are just tuning in to this story, last episode, we talked about, one of the struggles is technology and kind of being, controlled by, the wearables. And anybody who has an Apple Watch knows that it has the rings that you close. There's one for movement, there's one for exercise, and one for your stand goal. So for her, she's obsessed. She's got to close her rings. I mean, we last Tuesday night, we went to a concert. It was awesome. Got home around 11 o'clock and she looks at her watch and she's like, well, haven't closed the exercise ring. Turns on a video, starts working out in the living room, 11 o'clock at night. Got to get it done. So we're awesome. In jeans.
I did do it in jeans.
No
I worked
joke.
out in jeans yesterday too.
No joke. I should have just had you go down in the mosh pit. You'd have gotten your exercise and 2 black eyes. Like
bonus, right? Yeah, it's not necessary to close your rings every day. It's just something that I personally like to do. It makes me feel better about myself and about my fitness journey.
Right. It definitely works. And the proof is in the pudding. I mean, there you go. So today I want to jump into some myths, and there are hundreds of misconceptions and myths or things that people will tell you, or old wives' tales. But the worst is the things that you can find on the internet, because as everybody knows, you can go Google something and you can learn a lot, but you can also be misled a lot. And so we're going to jump into some things that, are pretty attractive in terms of, getting your attention and going, oh, I'm going to try that. But that, based on the science and what really works or doesn't work, isn't there. So where do you want to dive in? What's a common myth you want to start with? What's one you've heard that's the big one that sticks out for you?
Man.
Like, how about when you were starting your fitness journey, or when, we started talking about, getting back in shape? What was something that you either read or saw or knew from, your previous fitness journeys that's
you can't have any carbs.
Carbs are bad. Carbs are bad. Put one in the chat if you're on here and you've heard carbs are bad, for sure. So, man, and so I'm sure everybody at some point has, played with the idea of the keto diet, or heard or read something about carbohydrates being bad. So let's break down the deal with carbs. So carbohydrates are one of the 3 main macronutrients, right? And I'll try not to get too boring and sciencey here today. But for every 1 carbohydrate that you have, your body holds on to 4 ounces of water. So carbohydrates are just like any other macronutrient. Food is fuel. Your body uses it for energy. Um, Carbs aren't necessarily bad. Carbs are simply they break down in your system much quicker. And if you look at what is a carbohydrate and what foods contain carbohydrates, if you look at fruit and vegetables oftentimes have a lot of carbohydrates, but they're the complex sugars, not the, or I'm sorry, the simple sugars, not the complex sugars. And the thing about those is that they break down a little bit slower in the system. If you look at something like a cookie or processed sugar or any processed food with a lot of carbohydrates, chips or flour or any kind of food like that, those things get prioritized by your digestive system to get out as quick as they come in, and they lack the fiber that your body needs. So the reason that low carb diets have been so popular is because it discourages you from eating things that are very highly processed and sugary, um, and encourages you to eat more protein. But the biggest allure to the low carb diet fad and the keto fad is that people were finding that they were losing a lot of weight really quickly. And a lot of that weight is water weight. You'll notice if you eat something the night before with tons of carbs, maybe you eat pasta, maybe you ate a bunch of sugar or ice cream, and the next day you stand on the scale and you're like, wow, I gained weight, but it's water weight. And it works in reverse too. So if you eat a very carbohydrate rich meal, or I'm sorry, let me go backward. If you avoid carbs, if you cut a lot of carbs out of your diet and then you step on the scale, you're going to notice a dramatic decrease in weight. But don't let the scale fool you. It's just water weight. You know, day after Thanksgiving, did you notice that we went buck wild on Thanksgiving? Did you notice that we stepped on the scale the next day and it was
Yeah, and it was
kind of a
a
shock to the system?
yeah, absolutely. And for me, maybe another myth might be that you can't fluctuate within 5 pounds in a day. Like I that happened to me, and I was like, "Oh my god, what's wrong with me? How did I gain so much weight all of a sudden?" Um, and then you start thinking, well, actually, was it over time? Did I do something wrong? Was I, not staying with what I was supposed to stay with?
Mm-hmm.
No, like you said, it's the water weight,
Yeah.
and it can fluctuate that much, which I didn't know.
Yeah, even 5 to 7 pounds is a normal fluctuation, and carbohydrates are the only thing that cause you to retain water. Um, Eating a lot of sodium will cause you to retain water, and if you did like a really really hard intense workout the night before, your muscles will be sore, and soreness is usually associated with inflammation, which causes water retention. So soreness, high sodium, and carbohydrates are a recipe for the scale making you angry. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but that's a myth. Carbs are necessary. They're important. It is very difficult to maintain a no carb diet for the long term. Some people can sustain that, but ultimately, everybody that I've ever known that did the keto diet or tried to maintain a low carb diet um, inevitably gain the weight back, and in spades too. So now, what's good about cutting carbs out of your diet? So one, if you're eating less carbohydrates, it's likely that you're eating less processed food. So that's good. Or you're limiting, sweets, and you're limiting um, things like chips or really highly processed foods with a lot of flour or, carbohydrates that aren't necessarily the quote unquote good kind, the natural
Alcohol.
foods, or even alcohol. Um, that's going to help because cutting those things out of your diet means that the things that you are eating are going to be more nutrient rich and processed slower by your digestive system, and you're going to have a higher metabolism by way of that. Um, the other benefit is that you're not going to have these high spikes in glucose and spikes in your insulin. So that's a benefit for people who are pre-diabetic or diabetic or that struggle with insulin resistance. that's going to be a benefit to, limiting those. But to completely cut them out is, it's not sustainable. And like I said on the last live stream that we did, especially if you're a busy parent, there's always going to be a birthday party. There's always going to be a family get together. There's always going to be a church function. There's always going to be a Super Bowl party, Austin. There's going to be something, and inevitably where there's going to be food. There's going to be things that people eat and enjoy, and it's not always going to be kale and spinach and chicken. There's going to be chips, and there's going to be cookies, and there's going to
No,
be
and
pizza.
that's why you put yourself in a calorie deficit. If you know that those things are coming, then you put yourself in that calorie deficit the day before, the couple days before, so that you're saving up for those calories that you know you're going to have, if you know you're going to have them.
Yeah, I talked to somebody actually today that mentioned going and eating at fast food restaurants or just eating out in general. And one of the things was, like, in terms of counting calories and being aware of that, there was a question that came up of, man, do I really want to have to spend that time paying attention to how many calories are in food at restaurants and fast food restaurants? And the way I look at it is, when you go shopping, I would assume most people do this, unless you're very wealthy. And if that's the case, please hit me up. We need to talk. When you go shopping, you have a budget, right? You say, okay, I'm going to the store. These are the things I need. This is the amount of money I'm planning on spending, and I can't go over this. I can definitely go under. In fact, I'd like to go under, so I have some left over. But this is the amount of money, and we don't think twice about doing that, right? That's just a normal thing for us going shopping anywhere. We know in our minds, and on our bank app, or I don't know if anyone balances a checkbook anymore, but we know, right? It's no different with your calories. It's like a financial budget. I know, okay, I'm going to this restaurant. This is how many calories I have left, whether it's a drive-through, a restaurant, whether I'm cooking a healthy meal. I know I have this many. This is my calorie budget. Same thing with your financial budget. If you think about it in those terms, then it's not so crazy, because how many people do you know that go into a store and just go, just whatever, sky's the limit? Not a lot. Not a lot of people. I don't know anybody.
Unless you're hungry, and then you go into the store and you buy the whole thing.
Don't go grocery shopping on an empty stomach.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah, but we've all done it before.
Yes. So, I think another myth I want to talk about, one of probably the biggest myth, and I want to show you guys some videos that talk about these myths, is
is it that you can target
yes,
fat areas?
Yes, that you can spot target fat. The most common question I get: how do I get rid of
my
belly? How do I get rid of this stubborn belly fat? And the biggest and most popular myth in the fitness and nutrition industry has been that you can spot target fat in certain areas, and the reality is you can't. So
you can spot target muscles.
You can absolutely spot target muscles. You want to grow your arm. Like, if you go to the gym and only do bicep curls and nothing else every day, your biceps are going to grow, especially if you're eating right, getting enough sleep. Your muscles and your biceps are going to grow. But nobody wants to look like Johnny Bravo, right? You know those guys who go to the gym and only train upper body and never train legs. They look like Johnny Bravo, right?
Right.
Nobody wants to look like Johnny Bravo. Johnny Bravo needs to hit leg day. I'm sorry,
character.
like, bro needs to get under the squat rack. He's got rocking shoulders, but he needs to hit some.
He's
deadlifts.
A little top heavy. He's a little. He just might
But-
fall over.
But yet we still see very consistently, even today, ads and articles and videos that promote, do this thing to lose your belly fat or lose, fat off of this area. And so
all of them, even the titles are target belly fat today.
Yeah, so let's pull one up and react to it. I want to take a look and give you an example of kind of what we're talking about here. I'm going to send it over right now.
All right. So while you send that over there, I'm thinking of, the myth that I talked about last time. I am still very guilty. Things have not changed in the last couple weeks of eating the kitchen at nighttime. Today we ate dinner really early. So I imagine that when I get home, I am going to want a snack.
She's going to eat the kitchen.
Yeah. Happen. But last night I was a little bit better. I had leftover dinner instead of having like a whole bunch of bread and such. But at the same time, with that myth, busting it doesn't matter because I had those calories available. And at nighttime, while you're sleeping, you burn more calories than you do in the daytime while you're
not always more calories, but if you
active calories,
you're not burning the active calories, but your body is still, if the machine is working optimally, you're still burning calories. In fact, if you think about it like this, if you have your car running, okay, and when you're driving your car, that's like being awake during the day, right? Because you're moving and you're doing stuff or you're exercising, and that's like speeding in your car. So sleeping is like having your car idle. But when your car's idle, it's still using gas. It's still using fuel. You can run out of gas while your car is idle, right? So your body's the same way. When you're sleeping, you're still burning calories. You breathe every second. Your heart is constantly beating. Blood is constantly flowing through your veins. Your body has to maintain a temperature to survive. All of that takes fuel. All of that takes energy. And so you don't just burn calories when you're exercising. And sleep is so important because of recovery.
Right. That's why BCAAs are important too, with that recovery piece.
Right. Get intra energy by EPN supplements. Delicious flavors. Helps with recovery. No muscle soreness.
Branch-chained amino acids.
That's right.
Check the link in the bio.
Hit the link in the description.
That's right.
It's also in the link in the bio as well, in my bio. So we're going to show you a video right now talking about the previous myth that we talked about spot targeting fat. There's, one of a couple I want to show you, but let's check this one out.
Okay.
If you're having problems getting rid of stubborn belly fat and you're looking for a natural fat burner to get snatched, add cayenne pepper to your diet and watch the fat melt away. If you're having problems getting rid of stubborn belly fat and you're looking for a natural fat burner to get snatched, add cayenne pepper to your diet and watch the fat melt away. If you're having problems getting rid of stubborn belly fat and you're looking for a natural fat burner,
cayenne pepper?
Cayenne pepper.
To get snatched. That's very special. I have never heard of adding cayenne pepper to my diet to get snatched.
Did I snatch you, baby? Is that what happened? I snatched you.
Snatched me right up.
Snatched you. So there has been research that suggests that having hot peppers, cayenne pepper, and other peppers slightly increase your metabolic rate because of just the
heat.
The heat, yeah. But we're talking about a statistically insignificant amount, and this is being marketed as though This is something that, and so people will see this and they'll go buy cayenne pepper and take either the supplement or cook with it every single day, and think like, I found the magic pill. All we got to do, baby, is eat cayenne pepper. That's it. We're good. We're on our way to looking like that lady's stomach and getting snatched.
I He just showed us the definition of snatched, and it only has nothing to do with it. Take the place of on fleek. Girl, your outfit is snatched. So yeah, I don't know what they were talking about in that video.
And we're old.
But speaking of being old, I remember being a child or even a teenager and my mom having diet pills and using Slim Fast, which are all still around today. But really all the diet pills did was make her jittery and nervous, and because it was caffeine.
Right. It was just caffeine. Your mug is snatched, baby. It's snatched. I'm just saying. What? I had to make sure to use it right. I had to be corrected. Okay, so here's the deal. If that were the case, if there were some magic pill that would obliterate belly fat, we would not have an obesity epidemic in this country. Everyone would be walking around with a six-pack, and we wouldn't be sitting here doing this podcast right now trying to help people out. Okay, so think about that. Let's think critically. If there was some magic ingredient, you can go get cayenne pepper for, $2 or less. Okay.
That's high end, yeah.
If that were the magic pill, if that were the magic secret, then, I'd be out of a job, right? Can it help? Can it supplement? Yes, this much. But it means nothing if you're not, sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night, if you're not eating in a calorie deficit, if you're not eating, at least 80% nutrient-rich foods, if you're not, on a good resistance training and exercise program, then it will do absolutely nothing.
Right. I was just going to say that, before our fitness journey, we didn't think of supplements that we were going to take specifically, like cayenne pepper. But instead we were thinking about what we were going to eat and how our exercise regimen was going to look and such, which actually leads me to ask you a question. I saw on one of the Mythbusters that you have to lift weights in order to lose all of that body fat. You have to lift weights in order to tone your muscles. But here I am, and I hardly lift weights.
Show it off, baby. Show it off.
Well, I'm pretty toned.
Very
Oh,
toned. Yeah.
And I have muscle and everywhere. And you know what I do? I do home videos every day. I hardly skip a day, but I do at-home videos, and sometimes they're hard and sometimes they're not. And I still have the muscle that I do. So that was my question for you. Do you have to lift weights?
You don't have to lift weights. No. So resistance training doesn't mean lifting dumbbells or barbells or specific weights. Resistance training refers to putting your muscles under tension. This can be done with calisthenics. This can be done isometrically, which is where you flex a muscle and hold it for a period of time. This is common in yoga and Pilates.
Planks.
Like holding a plank, that's an isometric exercise. Anytime you put the muscle or any muscle under a typical amount of stress, it's going to stimulate the muscle and it's going to activate it to grow. Now, to cause that growth in the muscle tissue, you need to progressively overload, which is to continually increase the volume of tension that you put on that muscle. And volume, let me see if I can get this right without reading it on something. Volume is the weight, the sets, the reps, and the frequency to which you stress or activate a muscle tissue, and over a period of time. So doing those kinds of exercises that she's doing, which is HIIT videos that often involve either isometric hold exercises or calisthenics, you can get in amazing physical shape and build muscle simply by doing calisthenics. You don't have to lift heavy things and put them down. That's just another method. The idea,
using your own body weight works just as well as lifting weights.
Mhm.
For men, lifting weights is better. I haven't seen a lot of men get the results that they want specifically. I mean, I think you could get tone from doing what I'm doing,
for sure.
But I don't think that they could get jacked like you.
Well,
Because
and
it's-
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not Mr. Olympia or anything, but this kind of leads into another myth that is a very troubling thing that gets in the way for a lot of females who are trying to start getting in shape is they have these personal trainers or me or someone telling them you need to do resistance training, and they're resistant to resistance training because the big fear is I don't want to what?
Get too bulky.
Yeah, I don't want to look like, She-Hulk. I don't
Schwarzenegger?
I don't
Yeah.
want to get big.
And that was a big fear of mine. And I've
Right.
told you that several times. Like,
Mhm.
I don't want my shoulders to be crazy huge. And, I don't want to look like a man.
Right. Well, and it's fair enough for you because your dad was a bodybuilder. So you're worried that it's in your genetics and you're going to like balloon up.
That, and I'm petite. And, I'm unfortunately not as well endowed as I used to be when I was a size 14. But, yeah, I don't want crazy guns. And I'm where I'm at and just maintaining, not building.
Right. So let's lay this myth to rest. Here's the reality. Men have at least 17 more times the serum testosterone than women have. And those women bodybuilders that you see that are like, 5% body fat and, bigger than some guys, they're most likely not natural. They're taking testosterone supplements. They're taking growth hormone. Men naturally have more just growth hormone in their body than women do, just like they have more testosterone. And so for women, when you start lifting weights and you start training, you're not likely to get bulky at all. If anything, you're going to lose fat and you're going to get toned, sleek, muscular, feminine arms, legs, and body. It's not going to be, something where you're going to turn into She-Hulk unless you're really, really putting hours and hours in lifting or, taking testosterone or other
steroids.
performance enhancing substances.
Mhm.
Right. So you can lay that to rest you don't have to worry about that. That being said, resistance training is very, very, very important for weight loss. Okay. Much more important with cardio, and we'll get into that. Oh my God, you were a size 14.
Yeah.
And
now I'm like a kid
can't.
12.
No joke. The other day we were at a friend's house, and what did she give you? She gave you some of her daughter's
gave
clothes,
me
right? Tell that
3
story.
pairs of pants.
Three pairs
and
of
she
pants.
was like,
And
my
how old's her
daughter's
daughter?
14. And she said, and she has a 12-year-old too. She said, my daughters don't fit in these anymore. Maybe your girls will. Well, there was a pair that actually, there were 2 pairs that I really liked, and I tried them on and they fit me. But yeah, I'm naturally, though, I'm 5'2", and I'm very petite. So being a size 14 was a big difference for me. Although I did carry my weight well.
You did.
Yeah, a lot of it in my bra. Total truth.
I want to jump back to the spot targeting fat thing because I have another video that I want us to react to. Okay. So, when you were a size 14, talk about some of the things that you were doing to. I know that there was a point in your life where you were frustrated because you were training a lot and not losing weight.
Right. I actually went to the gym, I think 6 days a week for 2 hours. For 45 minutes, I would do the elliptical. And then for 45 minutes, I would do other kinds of, no, actually, it was 45 minutes elliptical, 15 minutes on that machine thing that you hold yourself up like this and then you lift your legs and you do it different ways for abs, and then I'd get back on the elliptical. So there, I mean, now looking back, just doing the elliptical was probably not helping me a whole lot. But I did that for 3 months straight and didn't lose a pound. And I felt like my clothes were fitting a lot tighter and I wasn't losing those inches that I wanted to lose. Instead, I felt like things were tighter. And then after a period of time after I stopped, I did lose weight kind of overnight fairly quickly. And I'm not sure exactly why that was, but at that time I was on hormones, I was on birth control. So that changes things in a
It
huge
does.
way for
It does.
women.
Yeah, something to be aware of. But so there's a saying, you can't outrun a good diet. And I'm going to take it a step further. You can't outrun a calorie deficit. Okay. All right, so we got another video. You ready? All right.
All right, we're pulling up the cool video. Thank you, Austin. Austin's pulling it up.
All right, Austin's a bum.
No. It's taking a second.
There we go.
Want to lose belly fat? Drink this every morning before eating anything. Lemon tea. Want to lose belly fat? Drink this every morning before eating anything. Lemon tea. Want to lose belly fat? Drink this every morning before eating anything. Lemon tea. Want to
Lemon tea.
Think about how expensive eggs are right now. Do you realize how expensive lemons would be if that worked? If that were real? If
Lemons
you
would be
would
very
lose,
expensive.
oh my God, you'd be.
And lemon tea would be off the shelf.
Yeah.
Like there wouldn't be any lemon zinger
No.
by Celestial Season.
Well, I have stories about celestial seasonings, but we'll save those
That's for a different day.
a different day. So,
Cayenne pepper.
so yeah, if it was that easy, to just squeeze some lemon in some hot water and make tea with it, and then that would melt your belly fat. It's actually lemon tea in here. It's actually with cayenne pepper.
No, true fact, lemon tea or lemon with not hot water, but a little more than warm, a little less than hot water, and even honey if you want the sweetness. That's good for your vocal cords.
Yeah.
That's good for your vocal health, but it's not great for weight loss.
It's not going to do anything for the fat around your gut. So
It's not even going to make you go to the bathroom.
No, it's not. So real quick, let's just talk about fat. So there have been some studies that have come out that have suggested that there's different genetic markers that either cause you to lose or gain more fat in certain areas of your body. That being said, in general, most people, whatever statistically significant, will lose body fat evenly throughout their entire body from the inside out. And what I mean by the inside out is the first fat that you'll lose is visceral fat. And this is the fat kind of in your gut, around your organs, the kind of the dangerous fat. Okay. And then followed by the subcutaneous fat will start to burn, and it will burn evenly. You'll notice when people lose weight, you don't just see it in their gut, you see it in their face, you see it in their hands, their jewelry fits different, um, you can't spot target fat. It's the biggest myth, and it's the easiest myth to capitalize on, because a video like that we just showed you, or the other one, it's really appealing. It sells. It's clickbait. It's really clickbaity. I'll be honest, I've made some videos that have kind of gone in that direction, but the reality is that I'm here to clear the air. You can't spot target fat.
Do you have another video, or did it not make the cut? The video with the actual belly targeting?
Oh,
Do you know which one I'm
yes,
talking about?
I can. Austin, are you able to play a video without sound? Okay, so we don't get a copyright strike. All right. Let me show
Have
you.
some
So
music.
this was a video, and kind of the caption of the video is "Do this exercise to lose belly fat." And I'm gonna actually.
And I tried to do that exercise, but I guess I don't have any belly fat. I have skin. It doesn't work to lose extra skin.
It doesn't work like that. Okay.
It doesn't. It's a true story.
So pull this up. If this is a belly fat workout, and I don't know if that means that you work out your belly fat or work out to lose your belly fat. But give this one a try at home, and tell me if it works to lose your belly fat. There you go. Again, if there were some dance or ab exercise or thing that you could do if you have a gut,
don't do it.
if you have a gut, again, no sound on this one, but this is if you do want to work out your belly, this video is what I would recommend. Okay.
Oh, it's all right. I want to be on the beach he's on.
All right. Oh my God, that's hilarious. So yeah, we'd all be doing that dance if that worked to lose belly fat. But
All the young girls these days really think that twerking works for losing your booty fat and making your booty rounder.
well, squatting will, do some stuff, but I don't know about the twerking. So
Yeah.
I have another video that I want to pull up, and it's going to talk about a few different myths that we're going to cover, that we're going to hit. Okay. Before I do, I want to see if there's anyone jumping in the chat. Anyone commenting? Let's see.
No.
Yeah, size 14. She
Oh, yeah.
is very fit. Yeah, I mean, if someone would have told you when you were a size 14 that someday you're going to be able to fit into, pants that a 12-year-old girl could, or that you would be able to purchase clothes in the kids section at the store, or shop at Forever 21
I
again.
probably would have laughed at them, because especially with the struggle that I had losing weight when I was really trying. And even later, my second go around on losing weight was after both of my kiddos. And no, actually it wasn't. It was before Elliot. It was after I had Violet. And, I was trying to lose the baby weight and such, and I was going to the gym pretty often, and I just wasn't seeing results. But I was doing it wrong.
Right.
Well, I could talk a little bit about intermittent fasting, I think. Um Myself, oh, okay, you good? I'm gonna say I choose to not always eat during the day. I usually don't have breakfast more than the coffee diet, and I don't always have lunch. So when I'm doing that, then that's a portion of hours where I'm fasting. And then after that, I have a portion of hours where I can eat. And that's part of the reason why it's not a big deal if I eat the kitchen at nighttime.
I'm going to use a car analogy for this one, Marcella. So if I fill up a gas tank all the way to full, all the way to F, and I drive all the way from here to Arizona, okay? I am going to run out of gas eventually, right? I'm going to put wear and tear on my car. Now, let's say I don't fill up the gas tank. Let's say I fill it up maybe a quarter of the way. And then on the way to Arizona, I stop at the gas station and I fill it up a little bit more. And then maybe I stop, get to Arizona, but I'm trying to go to Phoenix. I stop in Flagstaff, fill it up a little bit more at a gas station. Is there any difference in how my gas mileage is going to be based on when I filled up my tank? The answer is no. The answer is no. There's no difference. There's absolutely no difference. And our bodies are absolutely the same. It does not matter what time you put fuel in the tank. It doesn't matter. I mean, there have been debates and studies and research about, well, you should work out in a fasted state, or you should eat breakfast every day. And really, it's whatever is best for you, whatever is most sustainable for you. Okay. So let me talk about intermittent fasting a little bit, because I intermittent fast, but that's because it works for me and it's what I want, but it's not for everybody. So here's the deal with intermittent fasting. Okay. The reason that intermittent fasting typically works for weight loss is because when you have a small feeding window, when you skip breakfast and then you try to fit all your calories into a small window, you typically will eat less calories, and so it's easier to put you in a calorie deficit. Okay. The other reason that people will typically lose weight with intermittent fasting is because, and it's not because they're training in a fasted state. So here's another myth. Here's a big one. Okay. People will say, oh, well, if you're training in a fasted state, then your body is going to switch to using fat to burning calories. Yes, that's true. But it's going to burn dietary fat. It's going to burn fat from food you ate 2 days ago. Dietary fat, not body fat. Okay. Body fat is going to be burned slowly over time due to a calorie deficit, not because you went for a 4-mile run after not eating for 12 hours. Okay. That is a myth. I will die on that hill. I will stand on that. That is not the case. With intermittent fasting, one of the things that does typically happen that helps people lose weight is that you start to understand what real hunger means. Okay. So think about being hungry. Okay. What does being hungry feel like? What do you think? What would you say?
Maybe a form of fatigue.
Yes. Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. So a lot of people associate hunger with that feeling in your stomach where it's kind of grumbling and growling. That's not hunger. That is a conditioned response of your digestive system preparing to bring in food based on some cue in the environment. Typically, it's because it's, lunchtime and it's your lunch break at work. And typically people, go eat food on their lunch break, or That's when you typically eat. And so when you start fasting and maybe you don't eat that time, or maybe you eat breakfast at 8 a.m. and then you decide to start doing intermittent fasting, right? And then at 8 a.m. you start feeling that feeling in your stomach. What that is your stomach is preparing to digest food, and it's releasing, whatever it does, just like Pavlov's dogs, right? They salivated when they heard the bell because they knew that they were going to get food. Your stomach does the same thing. You do the same thing. You salivate. At 8 a.m.
It's almost like muscle response.
It is. Yeah, it's a conditioned response. But a true state of hunger is a lack of energy because food is fuel. So true hunger is when you're just run down and you cannot function. You start feeling it cognitively, like I need fuel to actually function. That's when you're really hungry. And so one of the things that intermittent fasting does is kind of gets you past that point of feeling that hunger you feel in your stomach and that grumbling, that it helps you to see that that's not real hunger, that's just a conditioned response, and you can blast through that and then not
Marcella,
have
you can watch this again on repeat. It'll be on the page.
Two groups of people. They took people who ate right before a workout, and they took people who they ate the same calorie content right before a workout, and then another group that ate nothing. They fasted before a workout, and if their typical calorie, both groups had a balanced diet. Both groups were in a calorie deficit. The results were the same with both groups. There was no difference. Okay, so using intermittent fasting is really great for building, insulin resistance and leveling out your, insulin levels. It's really good for fighting off cravings. It's really good for being in a calorie deficit because you have a smaller window to eat in. But make sure you get away from this idea that, I have to eat 3 meals a day, or I have to skip breakfast so I burn more calories during my workout.
It's all nonsense. I have to have 6 small meals instead of 3 big meals a day.
Or, this idea that I can't eat right before bed. It's absolutely ridiculous. You could eat at any time of day. Based on the law of thermodynamics, your body is burning calories 24/7. It does not matter what time you eat. It does not. Okay? Last point that I'll hammer home on this. Whatever you choose to do, whether it's intermittent fasting, whether it's HIIT training videos on YouTube, whether it's learning how to lift heavy with me, whether it's going to a gym, whether it's training for a triathlon, whatever diet you're doing, whether you're just counting your calories, whether you're trying keto.
She asked about keto and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll get to that. The best training program, the best diet, the best anything is the one that you can stick with long term, the one that you can adhere to. Adherence and sustainability is number one. If you cannot stick to it, if it doesn't work for you long term, then it doesn't matter how scientifically relevant it is. If it doesn't work for you, if you can't do it long term, then it's no good. Okay?
Right, that's what it's all about, keeping it sustainable and keeping it so that you can actually do it in the long term and not feel like you're doing something extra, doing something you have to that's, a pain over what you would regularly do, like, or that you're depriving yourself from something. I never feel that way.
Right.
We eat super clean, super healthy, and then I eat like crap other times and not deprived.
Right. Like I said, 80% of the time you're eating, nutrient-rich foods. And when I say nutrient-rich or clean or healthy, think about it as the stuff on the outside of the aisles of the grocery store. The fruits, the vegetables, the meats, the clean food, right? Things that aren't processed. If 80% of the time you're eating that, but then you give yourself that 20% to eat the things that you really love and enjoy. That's a sustainable practice. That's called the 80-20 rule, 80-20 principle, or 80-20 rule, whatever. So, asking about keto, does it work for you? Is that sustainable for you? Then do it. Most people can't sustain a ketogenic diet long term. My
And
recommendation.
it is high in certain fats, and they're the good fats. They're every keto cookbook that I see has lots of avocado recipes, and avocados are high in fat, but they're good fats. That's definitely something to consider. With keto, we're not eating necessarily more fat in our diet. And but I eat avocados. So, there's that balance.
So here's the thing with fat is any of the macronutrients, fat, carbohydrates, or protein, they're all fuel sources. And they burn at different rates in the body that they take longer to digest, protein being the most taxing macronutrient. Fat isn't bad, fat is dense. And what that means is fat has more calories per a small amount than other food. So, it's not that it's bad, but it's a denser food that has more calories. So if you're eating more butter or more extra virgin olive oil, that's going to be more calorie dense. It's going to fill you up longer, but it's not going to take as long to break down in your system as protein is. So it's not that fat doesn't make you fat. Carbs don't make you fat. Protein doesn't make you fat. Eating too much of any of those and not burning those calories will lead to weight gain. And that's really the bottom line that everybody needs to know. There is one note that I want to touch on with fat is the polyunsaturated fats and the bad fats. The greasy canola oil, fried food fats, the vegetable oil. Vegetable oil is a little better than the canola oil or the seed oils, but there are some polyunsaturated fats that are typically, they go rancid in the body. And sometimes they're rancid before they even go in the body. And anybody who's worked in a restaurant knows that deep fryer machine that you drop the French fries into, that's some nasty oil, right? Tell me I'm wrong. That's some nasty oil.
We had Chick-fil-A for dinner.
We ate some nasty oil. Okay. I had a salad. I don't know what you're doing.
You did have a salad. And I only ate it from French fries, so it's okay.
So the fry oil that they use is not extra virgin olive oil. It's typically polyunsaturated fat. It's not great for you. Now, what happens with ingredients like that, and when I say they go rancid either before they go in the body or go in the body, is that your body prioritizes getting rid of those first. And what happens is because you get rid of those foods first, you crave more. Okay, they don't take, like if you eat a bowl of broccoli, that's going to take a while to break down in your system. You're going to feel full, you're going to feel it in your stomach. It's going to take a while for your digestive system to break that down. But if you eat a bucket of French fries, that's going to go through you pretty quick. And that's because of the fats that you have that your body is prioritizing. Like, this is rancid. I got to get this out of here quick. Okay?
That's sad.
And it is sad, but just
I'm kidding.
You just need to have that awareness that if I eat cookies or cake or French fries or things that taste really good that I love, have that awareness that my body is going to prioritize not only getting rid of those first, but those are calories that I can only eat a little bit, and it's going to be a lot of calories.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of my budget, it's like going to an event where you go to a concession stand. Has anybody ever been to a concert like we did this just the other night? You've been to a concert, right? And you go to buy a bag of popcorn at a concert or a drink.
$15, yeah.
And it's the most expensive beverage or bag of popcorn or churro or thing that you've ever paid for in your life. Like,
Yeah.
I could make a bag of popcorn at my house for,
$1.
less than $1, but they're charging me $6 for this bag of stale popcorn. That's kind of how your body responds to those calories. Like, it's a lot of calories for a little bit of food.
I noticed we have a viewer, and I'm wondering if they have any questions.
Yeah, who do we got?
Chirp, chirp, chirp. Yeah, it's okay if you don't want to say anything. I just thought there might be something specific that someone might want to ask. So you broke that microphone.
I will replace
Burning fat. Are you trying to burn fat? Well, let me give you the top 6 tips that are proven to help you burn fat most effectively. Are you ready? Here we go. Number 6, don't eat late at night. Common sense. The later you eat, more likely you're going to store instead of burn. Makes sense, right? Number 5, intermittent fasting. Now, I did a video.
You're gonna store. You're gonna store the food that you ate that you're gonna use as fuel.
How can you store it?
That's like saying, hey, we're going on a trip tomorrow. I'm gonna go fill up the gas tank, or I shouldn't fill up the gas tank because if I fill up the gas tank, we're gonna end up storing that.
I didn't get that.
I didn't get that at all. Okay, next. All right, keep
Moving
going.
on.
Video about this, and I also create a pamphlet that you can download from my stand store to learn how to sense. The later you eat, more likely you're going to store instead of burn. Makes sense, right? Number 5, intermittent fasting. Now, I did a video about this, and I also create a pamphlet that you can download from my stand store to learn how to do this properly. Number 4, eat slowly. The more slowly you eat, the quicker you get full. And that's essential if you want.
Eat slowly?
Eat slowly.
How does that help?
So there are some people that can eat slower and eat less, but some people that can eat, very quick and not eat less. Eating slower or faster has absolutely nothing to do with the amount of calories that you bring in or how much you burn.
I feel like
Absolutely
you portion out for yourself what you're going to eat, and the speed of how you eat it isn't going to change how you process it, right?
Not at all. Not even a little bit.
You eat super fast,
Right.
but obviously that's not a problem. And
It's not a problem. I inhale my food.
He does. He
Inhale.
inhales it. And I eat more slowly and
Moderately.
yeah.
It doesn't
doesn't
matter
make-
how
it
fast
doesn't
you eat
matter.
food. Right. All right, let's continue.
Want to cut down calories and not put on fat. Number 3, drink a lot of water. This is really important. It's actually proven to help keep the fat off of you.
That's a good one. You should drink water.
You should drink water, but
But it's not going to keep the fat off of you.
someone's going to see that and think, oh, I just should drink more water and it'll keep fat off of me. This is just as bad as the lemon water tea example. Or the...
I was thumbs upping to drink water, but
Right.
yeah.
You should
having to
drink water. You
fat.
need water. You absolutely need water. Water is essential for fat loss. But it's not a standalone strategy for weight loss.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going.
It's not like the Wicked Witch of the West where you pour
No.
water and she melts.
the...
I'm
That would be nice, right? Like, I'm just going to drink water and lose weight. No, that's not the case.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
Drink at least 8 glasses a day. Number 2, cut out the carbs. Now, this may be common sense to some of you guys out there that are doing low-carb diets, but cutting down carbs, especially refined carbs and simple sugars, is essential so that you don't store all those calories. And number one,
Okay, pause on that. This whole storing calories thing is driving me nuts. So regardless of whether you eat protein, carbohydrates, or fats, you are storing those and using them as fuel. And it's a myth that you end up, if you have a surplus of carbohydrates that you don't burn, that they end up just transforming into fat. That can happen with anything. If let's say, okay, let's take this for example. Let's say that you are eating a ketogenic diet. You're cutting out all carbs. You're only eating high protein, high fat foods, but you're eating in a surplus, a calorie surplus, not a calorie deficit, a calorie surplus. You're eating more calories a day than you're burning. Even if there's no carbs, you are going to gain weight.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's carbs or
It doesn't
protein.
It doesn't matter. So that myth is busted. And also, I just want to point out that if you put a pair of scrubs on and stand in front of, some medical spa, you're apparently an expert. So, okay, let's continue.
Spa, yeah.
Let's continue.
and maybe just as important as all the others, weight training. This is correct. Weight training for men and women has been proven to help you burn fat and build muscle. You don't have to get bulky. You can do a lot of reps at low weights, but weight training is essential if you want to do it the most effectively. In any case, if you have experience with burning fat, or if you've tried any of these, I look forward to hearing your comments from you soon. Thanks so much for watching.
Talked about that
Yeah,
already.
we covered
For
that.
men
That
and
weight
women.
training is not necessarily the thing that drove me nuts is that he brought up
Resistance
the
training, not weight training.
resistance training. Yeah, resistance training, stimulating the muscles for growth. Doesn't have to require weight, just needs to be stimulating the muscles.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's see. Do we have any more comments on here that we need to take care of?
No, we do have a couple friends on.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. If you are joining us live, make sure to like the video, make sure to share the video, make sure to subscribe if you're watching the replay, and share this with friends, people who need to know these ridiculous myths and get them busted. So, but before we hit the last video, are there any other myths out there that anyone's heard that they definitely want us to address? Any other myths that you can think of?
Well, you kind of address, eating out and having fast food and stuff. It's still okay as long as you're doing it in moderation, or if you are balancing your calories and making sure that your maintenance calories are under what they need to be, that
Right.
you're
If you're trying to lose weight, yeah.
if you're trying to lose weight, yes, of course.
Right. Yeah, if you want to eat out, two things. One, you want to budget for that, just like you do with your finances. You want finances. You go on a vacation, you want to make sure that you save enough money to go on vacation, right? Same thing with your calorie deficit or your calorie budget. You want to make sure that I have enough calories to afford this piece of cake that's going to be at this birthday party.
In that video.
I forgot the other thing I was going to say.
I'm sorry. I totally interrupted you. You were saying
That's good.
you were saying that you just have to balance and budget for your calories just like you would budget for your finances. That if you're gonna have a piece of cake.
Right. Okay. Got it too. The second thing is if you do decide to go eat fast food or more processed food, just be aware that, how it's going to affect your system. That if you choose to go eat out somewhere or get some drive-through or McDonald's or Wendy's or, whatever you get, if it's more highly processed foods, that it's likely going to go through your system quicker and leave you wanting more later, and just just be aware of that and be prepared for that. That like, okay, I'm choosing to eat a Big Mac tonight and some French fries, and I budgeted for that. And I also need to be aware that probably later after that, I'm still going to be more hungry because it's not nutrient-rich foods that's going to be, sustainable and really take forever to break down in my system, or not forever, but longer than
Right.
French fries
Yeah.
or a burger.
Right.
Steak and broccoli is going to take longer.
Hmm?
Austin's
food.
craving Chinese food.
Yeah,
All right,
that sounds good.
let's hit this last video, and hope you all appreciate this. I will warn you that there is some colorful language in here, but this is fun. All right, here we go.
Oh, yeah. So, the funniest thing about this video is that people do it. It's true.
They would watch this and be like, I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
If they only saw the
would
beginning,
actually do it.
they would be like, I'm going to do that tonight. Tonight. Don't care how gross it is. I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
They come through yet?
Nope. In this video.
And Austin's a bum. I think he's doing it because he's mad because
There we go. It's there.
microphone.
All right. So, last video, another myth on how to lose weight.
Alright, here's a belly fat burning drink you all need to try right now. So firstly, you're going to fill half a glass full of water. Now that you have your half a glass of water, here's what I want you to add to it. So firstly, you're going to take some cinnamon and you're going to add 2 shakes. Then you have your paprika. That's 3 shakes. Then you're going to take your cayenne pepper and probably a generous amount of that. And then you're going to get some garlic powder, and this one, you don't want to overdo it, so just 1 shake. And then last but not least, you have your ground cumin, 2.5 shakes. Not 2 1/4, not 2 3/4, but 2.5. Oh, I almost forgot, you can't forget your bay leaf. And then you're going to take your drink, give it a good mix, make sure everything is thoroughly incorporated. And then you're going to fucking dump it down the drain because that tastes fucking nasty and it doesn't do anything. Alright, here's a belly fat burning drink you all need to try right now. So firstly, you're going to fill half a glass.
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't do anything. Don't do that to yourself. Don't make some crazy concoction and think it's gonna melt things away. Call Casey, or
Yes, please. Oh.
or follow him and find some more healthy ways to lose weight without cayenne pepper.
Without cayenne pepper or turmeric or cinnamon and garlic and bay leaves, really lemon tea. Listen, if you're somebody who is looking at yourself in the mirror and realizing it's time for a change, if you've tried a bunch of these things and fallen victim to a bunch of these myths that you've tried, hit that link in the description or check the link in my bio. Book a free call with me. We'll talk. We'll figure out what you need, and we'll get you set. Get you on your weight loss journey.
Thanks again, Austin, and Player One Productions.
Player One Productions. But thanks for joining us.
See you next time.
Casey Fitness. We'll see you next time.
See you next